This is what nobody's talking about. Nobody's actually saying, hey, Matt, you say you care about America first, but so why do I say that Matt Walsh is lying? Well, over the years that I've been watching Matt Walsh, I've seen him talk about. So stop bullshitting, man. Stop lying. At least Michael knows at the ball. Hello, gringos y gringas, beaners and beanerettes. Bienvenidos to another edition of El Racist Latino. Thank you for hanging out. Today, I want to react to the Matt Walsh interview with Tucker Carlson. It's been making very, very viral movements all over the fucking everywhere. Instagram, X is exploding all over. And everybody's podcast, everybody's talking about it. But nobody has mentioned something that for me is the most obvious, was the most obvious thing when I watched the interview. And everybody's focusing on other things. I'm not saying they are less important or more, but this is for me vital because it's the only thing that proves that he's lying. So basically, everybody's like, well, you say you're America first, but you can't. You have to. America isn't directly involved in this war, so you are actually should be giving an opinion if you are America first and all that stuff. But for me, it was more surprising the fact that he says that he's very often actually in the show, even that he's an American chauvinist, that he's America first, and he only cares about America. And this is the part that I want to focus on. And yeah, if other people would talk about it, then I wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's just kind of itching in my brain. So it's very, very short. Let's pay attention.
But about the Dave Smith and Douglas Murray debate, my point was I'm going into it. I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't know either of these guys either. And I don't know either of the guys. I'm not following the issue that closely. I'm just not. I'm focused on America. And so
That's it. I don't care because I focus on America. And of course, you could make tons of arguments, which actually he has made himself. From this account, America First.
Doesn't need us, we need them. If that's true, then how can you say that in one breath and then in the next breath tell us that it is imperative for the United States to help Israel? I thought you said they don't need us. I mean, they don't need us at all. We could not exist, according to you, and it would make a difference. You cannot say both of those things. You cannot say they...
So whatever, he has an opinion, right? He does care. And as well, we also have his direct, basically working twin, Michael Knowles, who I also actually respect. And let me say, actually, like I really like Matt Walsh. And I had a phase where I would watch him every day. And the only reason why I think I can do this, comment and everything on him is because I watched him for so long. So I really, really like the guy, but he's lying. So that pisses me off. So, okay. So we can see that he has an opinion. His co-worker, Michael Knowles, who I also like, as I said, also a Catholic. It's basically Matt Walsh, a little bit darker and without the beard. But otherwise, their beliefs are very, very similar, let's say. So he also had something to say a couple days ago. The other clip, as you saw, was 2 years old. So he's been having an opinion for a while. And this one was just a couple days ago. Let's hear.
I have yet to hear anyone make a persuasive argument that the state of Israel is not justified in going to war against Gaza and even in continuing the war against Gaza. I sort of wish they wouldn't, because I care about this more from the American national interest. And the longer this war goes on, the more volatility is created and the greater the risk of the United States being dragged into a war. So from the American perspective, I would kind of like the war to wrap up.
That's all I need to know. I don't want to talk about Gaza, Palestine, Israel. This is another monster that, I definitely don't want to discuss now. I don't even want to necessarily I can point out that he goes on to support the war, and that's his perspective. I have mine, you have yours, and we're not here to talk about this. We're here to talk about Matt Walsh lying, and fortunately or unfortunately, he's lying about his reason why he doesn't want to talk about the conflict. This is the point of this. It's not about the conflict itself. So let's put that on the side. The point is that Michael Knowles says that it's in America's best interest to finish the war. So his co-worker and apparently very good friend, and of course we know they have a lot in common when it comes to life perspectives, same religion as well. So why do I say that Matt Walsh is lying? Well, over the years that I've been watching Matt Walsh, I've seen him talk about foreign affairs extremely often, actually, in about multitude of foreign affairs. This is what nobody's talking about. Nobody's actually saying, hey, Matt, you say you care about America first, but you are reporting a lot about Europe's censorship, the European Union. You have blasted the UK in many ways, the transgender policy, the immigration policy. You covered extensively when those 3 little girls got stabbed in Wales by this, I guess, Somalian second generation immigrant. South Africa, when it comes to COVID, you covered New Zealand and Australia a lot, and exposing their dystopian solutions for COVID and all that stuff. And I'm not saying I support everything that you said regarding these policies, by the way. I'm not complaining about you exposing the policies. That's cool, But you obviously have interest beyond the US. You are proving it by doing this. And you could say, yeah, it's relevant because I am covering the West because it's the West culture, and if it happens in the UK, if it happens in Canada, it can happen here. Okay, this is an indirect connection. Yeah, it's not a direct connection like your country, like from your pocket, from your tax dollars, financing wars. Not even only Gaza and Israel, but also Ukraine and Russia, which you, as far as I understand, also refuse to give your opinion or talk about it. So you are directly financially connected to these wars that you say you don't want to talk about because they don't concern you. And yet you spend a hell of a lot of time discussing these other situations that affect you indirectly. Because even though if it happens in the UK, in Canada, in Australia, it could happen here. Well, but not under this president. They have different leaderships of different, political sides and different kind of legal systems, the way that they are built. So, it's in cultural interest, but it doesn't affect you as an American that sadly, for example, I'm sorry for using this as an example, but 3 little girls getting stabbed in Wales. The same could happen here. I get it, but this is not in America. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that story you're bad to publish it. You just care. So stop bullshitting, man. Stop lying. At least Michael Knowles had the balls to go out and say what he thinks. Now, is that really what he thinks, or is that what his contract with the Daily Wire is telling him to say? That's something else. And if Matt Walsh is not allowed to speak about this because of some restrictions in his contract, that would be my best case scenario. Let's finish with a positive, hopeful, best case scenario world where Matt Walsh is limited by his contract. That is hopefully sooner rather than later going to expire, and then he just doesn't renew and quits to go independent. I think this is what most of the people that I hear from outside and that know more about how everything is behind the scenes, how they talk about. So I don't care, honestly, where he is, Daily Wire or not, as long as he's free to say what he wants. And if by some reason the Daily Wire is keeping him from being able to do that for whatever reason, then I hope he goes somewhere where he can, you know. So yeah, we will see. In any case, this was my grain of sand when it comes to this subject. Please, Matt, don't lie to us. I would prefer that you say something like, you know what, I'm not very comfortable talking about that subject because it's very sensitive, and yeah, let's move on. You know, I would respect that. But yeah, throwing this bunch of bullshit in my face that you only care about America first, but talk about, I would give you, of course, the Pope. Things like the Pope, I would give you. Maybe not for the reasons that you think, because I would give you the Pope because he was an American. He's an American, actually. And you are a Catholic, and that's the Pope. But I wouldn't give you the Pope just because it's world known news. Then if you are I don't know, Islamist, and the Pope is from another country, then I don't think under those restrictions that you're giving yourself you have the right to talk about it, because the Pope doesn't live in the US. Like, it's it's a world news. Yeah, the worlds are also, everybody's talking about the Pope, but also everybody's talking about what the Pope is saying about the wars is being heavily talked about. So it's world news, man. Like, obviously you are not biased, you are not a hypocrite. Everybody knows this. I know this. That's why I watch you. But don't lie to us, bro. Avoid the subject instead of, bullshitting us. Anyway, gracias. Thank you, everybody. Gringos, gringas, beaners and beanerettes, and everybody else from all races and religions. We love everybody equally, but we recognize that we are all different. And yeah, see you very soon for another episode.